It was a Thursday afternoon, and my inbox was a war zone. I was staring at a spreadsheet, wondering if my coffee was strong enough to keep me upright until dinner, when my phone buzzed. It was a group text from Maya. "Hey everyone. Game night at my place tomorrow. Bring snacks, bring good vibes. 7 p.m. don't flake." I smiled faintly but didn't reply right away. The past few weeks had been long, late nights at work, back-to-back deadlines, and the kind of fatigue that made the thought of leaving my apartment feel like climbing Everest. My thumb hovered over the screen, ready to type "sorry, can't make it." But before I could, Lucas chimed in. "I'm bringing the world's most dangerous charcuterie board." Then Sophie, "And I'm making brownies. Like the good kind." I sighed. I loved these people. They'd been my circle since college. The ones who'd seen me through breakups, new jobs, and more moves than I cared to count. Still, part of me just wanted to curl up in pajamas and watch a cooking show I'd never attempt to replicate. That's when Maya texted me directly. "Don't you dare say no, Claire. You've been MIA for weeks. We miss you." I stared at the message for a moment, then typed back 2 simple words. "I'm in." Friday evening was brisk, the kind of early spring night where the air smelled faintly of rain and fresh earth. Maya's apartment was on the 3rd floor of an old brick building in downtown Durham, North Carolina, and as I climbed the stairs, I could already hear laughter spilling into the hallway. When I knocked, the door swung open to reveal Maya, her hair in a messy bun, wearing an oversized sweatshirt that read "Plant Mom." "Claire," she yelled, pulling me into a hug that nearly knocked the bag of chips from my hands. "We thought you'd bail." "I almost did," I admitted. But then Lucas mentioned charcuterie, and Sophie promised brownies. I'm not made of stone. Inside, the apartment was warm and bright, string lights draped across the ceiling. The coffee table was covered with board games, bowls of popcorn, and true to his word, Lucas's charcuterie board, which was less board and more small grazing continent. Sophie waved from the couch. "Hey stranger. I was starting to think you'd gone into witness protection." "Just work," I said, sinking into the couch beside her. "Lots and lots of work." We started with a game called Codenames. Maya explained the rules while Lucas poured sparkling water into mismatched mugs. Before long, the room was full of groans and cheers, accusations of sabotage, and mock-serious debates about whether Penguin could logically connect his spaceship in any universe. At one point, Lucas leaned over to me and said, "You get this look on your face when you're about to win. Like you already know the ending to the story." I laughed. "It's called strategy." "It's called suspicious," Maya countered from across the table. Halfway through our second round, Sophie emerged from the kitchen carrying a tray of brownies that looked like they belonged on the cover of a baking magazine. "They're still warm," she announced. We all abandoned the game in favor of chocolate, crowding around the kitchen island. The first bite was heaven, rich, fudgy, with just the right hint of sea salt. "You've ruined all other brownies for me," I told her. "That was the plan," Sophie said, smirking. After brownies, the games shifted into storytelling. Someone suggested 2 truths and a lie, and soon we were confessing everything from embarrassing middle school crushes to weird travel mishaps. When it was my turn, I said 1. I once met a celebrity in an elevator and pretended not to know who they were. 2. I can juggle 3 oranges. 3. I've never been stung by a bee. Lucas immediately pointed at me. "There is no way you can juggle." "It's true," I said, grinning. "I can't. I dropped one on a waiter once. It was tragic." We laughed until our cheeks hurt. Around 10 p.m., Maya suggested we take the party upstairs to the rooftop terrace. We carried blankets, mugs of tea, and a portable speaker. The city skyline stretched out before us, lights twinkling against the dark sky. A soft breeze carried the scent of someone grilling a few buildings over. We sat in a circle, bundled in blankets, letting the conversation drift from light-hearted banter to more personal things, dreams we hadn't chased yet, fears we didn't talk about often. When Lucas admitted he was thinking of quitting his job to start his own catering business, Sophie didn't hesitate. "You'd be amazing. And you know we'd be your first customers." I realized then that these people this night, was the kind of connection I'd been missing. Before heading back inside, we played one last game. Would you rather? The questions got sillier as the night went on. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Lucas asked. I'll take the duck-sized horses, Maya said without missing a beat. Easier to run from. By midnight, we were sprawled on the couch, yawning but unwilling to let the night end. When I finally left, Maya walked me to the door. See? Aren't you glad you came? Yeah, I said smiling. I really am. The streets were quiet as I drove home, but my mind was buzzing, not with work deadlines or to-do lists but with warmth. The next morning, I found a group text from Maya. Same time next month? Lucas replied. I'll bring the charcuterie. Sophie and brownies. I'm in. I realized then that sometimes, the best thing you can do for yourself is say yes, especially when it's to the people who remind you what joy feels like.